why there's a desert formation to the western side of it is because of three main factors that how deserts are formed. Now, the city of Philadelphia, that is in Pennsylvania state, is also called as the birthplace of USA. Now, to the west of this Lake Superior lies one of the richest iron mining regions of USA. Now, we can see that sort of triangle developing here. What is it? Mesabi iron, Appalachian is the coal, and Pittsburgh becomes the steel capital. So you can see the black population of USA living largely towards southern states of USA, and a European population which migrated during the Industrial Revolution, post-Industrial Revolution, largely in the northern regions of USA. And that is where Appalachians, these mountains of Appalachians, they acted as war theater. Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of Continent series. In the previous episode, we had discussed about the physical features of North America, wherein we had discussed various mountains, rivers, deserts, and many more physical aspects. Now, continuing with the same series, now the time to look at some more physical aspects. And after that, we'll look at the political aspect of North America. So, continuing from there, we'll look at what North America is all about in political sense. But before that, we'll see that on the western margin of the continent, US, extending from USA to Mexico, there is this desert which is collectively called as Desert of California. The Desert of California that has some regional names. For example, it's called as Mojave Desert in California. It has name as Sonoran Desert to the south of it, towards Mexico. Now, why is this region a desert formation? Why there's a desert formation to the western side of it is because of three main factors that how deserts are formed. One factor is in the subtropical region, there is a high pressure formation. That means air masses subside there. Since air masses subside, subsidence of air mass causes decrease in rainfall. They do not support the rainfall. So, one of the reasons that most of the deserts in tropical areas are between 20, 25, 30 degree latitude is because of presence of this subtropical high pressure. Apart from that, here on the western side, there are offshore winds. Offshore winds, that means northeast trade winds, when they travel through North America or any continent for that matter in the tropical belt, they cause rainfall towards eastern side of the continent, whereas the western part they are unable to cause rainfall because they travel from continents to oceans. These are called as offshore winds. So trade winds are offshore towards western margin of continents. And third factor is the presence of cold current here, presence of cold current called as California cold current that causes formation of cold dense air masses which subside and do not cause rain. So, three factors we can conclude on the basis of which deserts are formed. One is a subtropical high pressure belt, number two is offshore winds, and number three is the presence of cold currents that is prevalent on the western margin of North America called as California current. And that is why the Californian desert has been formed. You see dryness towards the western side of USA, also extending in western part of Mexico, more so towards northwestern part of Mexico. Now, let's have a discussion on other aspects of the map. These were some physical detailings, physical aspects. In political maps, USA is a prominent country, is the most dominant country, as we say, in the continent of North America. So let's dive a little deeper into the political aspects of North America, of USA. See, USA, that's the extent of the country with Hawaiian Islands and Alaska. If we look at this continuation of USA, it's divided in four major divisions. So looking at these four major divisions of USA, one of the region is towards the northeastern part of USA. The second region is the southern region of USA. Third region is called as the Midwest region of USA. And the fourth region can be seen in the western part of USA. So these are broadly four divisions of USA: the Northeast, the Southern region, the Midwest region, and the Western region. So one by one, let's dive deeper. Let's try to understand various aspects of USA in context to the economic activities, in context to some other aspects of like distribution of industries and so on. First, we'll look at the northeastern part of USA. Now, friends, when we see this part of USA, that is the northeastern part of USA, here, it's mostly populated, quite densely populated region. Densely populated region. And you would see that it is one of the earliest inhabitants, particularly when Europeans reached to USA. This is the region which was largely occupied, and now it has a huge industrial belt. It has economic, cities or economic settlements, economic institutions or economic setups like the New York, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Boston, Washington, all these areas. We will further divide this region in New England region, New England region, and Atlantic region. Atlantic region. Now, this New England region has got a industrial density in it. There are a lot of industries that we see in this part. As we mentioned, the region is early settlers. That means it was first inhabited among the earliest regions of industrial development in USA because of climatic conditions were moderate, because of resources that were present, and also a lot of rivers that the region has. So let's see some of these regions here, and one of the main region is New York City, the commercial capital of USA. Now, with the setting up of New York Stock Exchange, right, New York Stock Exchange in the year 1792, that was the earliest beginning, the early beginning of economic activities that we had. Since then, a lot of industrial development took place. Some of the regions, another city that is very significant is the Boston, one of the historical cities, and of course important for industries. One more city here is the city of Philadelphia. Now, the city of Philadelphia, that is in Pennsylvania state, is also called as the birthplace of USA. Why? Because the document of independence was actually signed in here. Then, going back towards the western part, little west of it is located the steel capital of USA, that is Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Let's try to relate few things. We are still there in northeastern part of USA, and let's try to relate few points here. Like going back to this region here, if you see the western part of the Lake Superior or nearby regions of the Great Lakes, there are few places which are known for iron production. They are significant for iron production. Like two cities, locations. One is Mesabi Range to the west of Lake Superior. One is Vermilion, again to the west of Lake Superior. Now, to the west of this Lake Superior lies one of the richest iron mining regions of USA. All right. If it is a iron producing center, western part, Mesabi and Vermilion, very close to the region are Appalachian coal fields. In the previous discussion, we had mentioned about Appalachian being one of the regions of coal production. It's a coal region. Now we can see that sort of triangle developing here. What is it? Mesabi iron, Appalachian is the coal, and Pittsburgh becomes the steel capital because both are required. Coal as well as iron ore is required for the production of steel, and River Hudson and many more canal systems provide inland water transportation facility. Inland water transportation facilities, which connects the region to the city of New York. Now, Pittsburgh lays the foundation for further industrial development in northeastern part of USA. As in, if you see to the next of it, as we go little west of it and we enter in the Midwest regions, there are industrial cities like Detroit, like Chicago, like Cleveland. So these are areas, or Duluth, these are all areas which are known for industrial production, and Pittsburgh being the main city which produced steel, and that is what laid the foundation for industrial development in the region. Another important region of USA is the southern region. Looking at the southern region of USA, you will find that it has great history, American as well as African population. So that Afro-American population lived largely in the southern part of USA. These were migrants, some of them forced migration. And why is it so? It is the region of cotton production. It is a region of tobacco production. It is a region of mining, coal mining. Now let's relate few lines. If southern states of USA are largely known for mining, like agricultural activities, which are labor intensive activities, they would require greater workforce. So laborers from Africa and other parts of the world were forcefully taken. Later they moved voluntarily to these regions and became this region of immigration, forced immigration prior to the abolition of slave trade. Now, so you can see the black population of USA living largely towards southern states of USA, and a European population which migrated during the industrial revolution, post-industrial revolution, largely in the northern regions of USA. Or we can also see this happening, that industrialists lived towards northern states and migrants lived towards southern states because of economic activities. Now, giving rise to conflicts between the states, northern states and southern states. And that is where Appalachians, these mountains of Appalachians, they acted as war theater. They're in between these two regions. There were conflicts which were around the Appalachian regions. And the southern states of USA, the southern region of USA, have also produced some of the greatest workers. In fact, political movements were there. From the times, it is a region of workers, like political workers, also the regions of, the social movement, social activists like Frederick Douglass, like the one who gave America the dream. I have a dream. Who? Martin Luther King Jr. Now, there was a movement against the northern states, and you can see a very rich history of political development that took place, which fought for civil rights, for equal opportunities. So, look at the southern states as far as the economic activities are concerned. The region has some cities like New Orleans, cities like Houston, cities like Baton Rouge, cities like Tallahassee. All these cities are well known for petroleum production or known for chemical industries. Chemical industries. So if you travel to the southern states of USA and look at your maps, look at your atlas carefully, these states, Louisiana, you mark Baton Rouge, you'll mark New Orleans, you mark Tallahassee. These regions are well known for petroleum production. And also, do relate the historical aspect here. Do relate how world history was shaped here, particularly when the Civil War happened because of the migrant workforce. Yes, conservative. The southern population is largely conservative, but yet they talked about universality. Then moving on from there, we'll go to the northern part of it, the Midwest region. Midwest region is quite close to the lake regions. So let's go a little deeper here. A Midwest region. Now, cities like Chicago, which was known for meat packaging, meat packaging industries. And if you look at this location of Chicago, if you see it carefully, it is close to the Lake Michigan. And you know why it was known for the meat packaging? Is because the ice from the Michigan was used for the preservation of meat, and then it got distributed in different parts. And gradually it becomes the center of meat packaging industry. Besides that, the Chicago is also known for heavy machine tools. Heavy machine tools. Exactly to the west here, as you go close to the Lake Erie and Superior, next to that, there's a city known as Detroit. And I'm sure most of you know Detroit, what Detroit is famous for. It's called as automobile capital. Has a huge production of cars and automobile production. Detroit. To the south of it, there's one more city called as Akron. Akron can be called as rubber capital of world. It is the place where synthetic rubber was first invented and was used on a large scale, on a commercial level. So can be called as rubber capital, can be called as tire capitals. Now you should understand that just now we mentioned Pittsburgh as one of the steel producing centers. Then the steel production laid the foundation for industries there. Detroit is automobile production. Akron is for rubber. So, and all of that, you would see that there's a continuous series of industrial cities that developed in the north and northeastern part of USA. So the Midwest region included places which are rich in iron, like Vermilion and Mesabi. They are rich in automobile production. They have very high production of synthetic rubber, and also became a major region of industrial development. Then comes the western part of USA. In western part, it can be called as the largest cultural region. Largest cultural region, right? Huge area. But it was considered as the land of endless possibilities or endless opportunities. So the natives were pushed further towards west. And here we have one ethnic group in Utah province to the west of USA, in Utah province near Salt Lake. So in your atlas, you can mark that Salt Lake into the Great Salt Lake to the west of USA in Utah province, where Mormons live. Mormons are the natives that live to the western part of USA. Then it did not only offer opportunities for agriculture, livestock raising, and so on, but also opened massive opportunities for new industrial development. A vast land, a massive area that was available for industries. Now, till the mid of 20th century. By this time, northeastern part of USA was filled with industrial congestion, industrial clusters. Southern part had industries as well as agricultural practices. Great Lake region also had industries. Now, when we look at the industrial development, you would see that industrial development started in the western part with cities like San Francisco, which is called as the Silicon Valley, with cities like Los Angeles. So look at your atlases. Pay attention to the atlas. To the western part of USA, you'll find these cities, or you'll find these cities. As in, you can see Los Angeles here, Los Angeles, where it is known for Hollywood industries and so on. Western part, San Francisco, known as Silicon Valley. Then San Diego, right? Here we have San Diego, one of the shipbuilding centers and a naval base in the western part of US. Along the Pacific coast, there emerged one more major industrial center, that was Seattle. So if you go to the north of USA on the Pacific coast to the north, Seattle, it was once called as aircraft capital of world. So well known for aircraft industries, Seattle, and had a massive industrial growth on the western part. Now friends, let's see it this way. In the first phase of industrial revolution, as we can say that industrial revolution 1.0, where the focus was largely on the basic industries such as steel industries, cotton textile industries. So you find that here, this area, this region of USA was largely known for industrial revolution first phase. The focus was on steel industries and so on. Number two, to the west, this Midwest regions, including some parts of Great Lake regions, were also known for industries, but here you can consider that it was a region of Industrial Revolution 2.0, where the focus was more on locomotives, automobiles, locomotives. Okay. Then, as we come up with the information technology times post World Wars, the western part took the advantage of this. So this became the center of industrial revolution, third phase, where focus was more on IT industries, and San Francisco and the western part of USA became the main center of such industries. So my suggestion is, when you look at this map of USA, mark some important cities. We have marked some of these cities. Relate this distribution of economic activities along with other components also, so that you can make an interlinkage with this. Going back by the next part. Next country that we have is the second largest country in world, that is Canada. Now, Canada is a massive country, going from the Pacific coast to Arctic coast, the Hudson Bay, and Atlantic coast. Okay. Looking at this resource of Canada, the major region, if you see the economic activities, at the center of this country, Canada, center of this is the prairie regions, prairie grasslands, wherein it is known for agricultural activities. So in your atlas, if you can mark three places, three states, let's suppose. One is Alberta, one is Saskatchewan, and you can locate Manitoba region. These areas, these plains are actually the central states, central regions, the prairie regions of Canada. Now, what do we have in the prairie regions? In the previous discussion, we mentioned that it is known for agriculture. Okay, it's known for agriculture. Wheat production is done on very large scale. It does not receive much of the rainfall. It does not have a lot of rainfall in the region. And since rainfall is less, the only crop that can be grown in that region with a rainfall of 60 to 70 centimeters in a year, and prairie grasslands, like temperate grasslands, wheat production is done. Not just that, in Alberta itself, you locate a place, you locate a city known as Calgary. Calgary. Now, Calgary is known for petroleum production. It's known for petroleum production. So, it has a blend of agricultural regions in the central states and also for mining, that is petroleum. Then comes this western part of Canada, the massive state called as British Columbia. British Columbia. Now, the state of British Columbia it was occupied initially and then made the territory of Britain in 1858. And there's a small island to the west of it, Vancouver, and a city in Vancouver, Victoria, was made the capital of this region. So far as British Columbia is concerned, it has a lot of forest-based industries, paper industries, and Vancouver being one of the major shipping ports, shipping industry. It is one of the port, it acts as a major dockyard and plus also one of the major shipbuilding regions. To the north of Canada, if we move, a massive region, northwestern part of Canada, this region, we understand that climatic conditions are too harsh for the region. It's very harsh because very close to Arctic area, the polar winds bringing in snowstorms and so on. So this is called as Northwestern Territory. Northwestern Territory. In the Northwestern Territory, it has a capital city here as Yellowknife. And also, if you look at your atlas carefully, there is one river passing through it called as River Mackenzie. Please mark that river in your atlas, River Mackenzie. It's the longest river of Canada. Okay. Now, later, this Northwestern Territory was divided in two parts. One was a northwestern part, and was to the eastern part of it was Nunavut province. Nunavut province. Now, Nunavut is largely inhabited by Inuits. They're considered to be natives of Canada, Inuits. And the conflict between the people of Northwestern Territory, Danes, D-E-N-E-S, they are Danes who lived in the western part of it, and Inuits, led to the division of this region. So in after 1990s, we have two divisions. One to the western part, that is Northwestern Territory, and another is Nunavut province to the north of Canada. Harsh climatic conditions, sparsely populated regions, not much of an economic activities, but the region has some mining potential. The mining is practiced in this regions of Nunavut, like mining of metals, as it is quite close to Canadian Shield. In the previous discussion, we had mentioned about the significance of Canadian Shield, how it is and why is it significant for metal productions. Then comes the main industrial centers, main industrial regions of Canada, and that is in this part. You can say eastern or southeastern part of Canada, very close, these regions, very close to Great Lake regions. So in your atlas, you can mark Toronto, Toronto, and you can consider Toronto as one of the largest industrial center, as one of the largest industrial center, Toronto. Next to that is Ottawa. Next city to that is Ottawa. Ottawa is a commercial, the capital city of Canada. But then next to that city comes as Montreal. Montreal. Now, what is Montreal known for? Has aircraft industries. Aircraft industries. So, all the equipments associated with the aircraft and also other industries like manufacturing towns, but largely known as also the headquarters of ICAO and known for aerospace industries or aerospace industries. So these are three main cities here. One is Toronto, one is Ottawa, another is Montreal. To the south of it lies one more city known as Hamilton in Canada. Hamilton. Now, Hamilton, being close to the lake regions, Great Lake regions, has steel industries. It's one of the largest steel producing centers of Canada, Hamilton. So you can mark in your atlas the location of Hamilton. Move from there eastward, we reach to this huge island called as Island of Newfoundland. Now, what is the significance of Newfoundland Island? All of you should know, all of you should understand what is the significance of this Newfoundland Island. for Canada, overall North America, is that it is known for fishing. So here, Newfoundland Island. Why is it significant for fishing? Is because it's a point where the region where two currents meet. One is the warm Gulf Stream, another is two cold currents. One is the East Greenland current, another is the Labrador current. What happens with the mixing of two currents is when the temperature gets normalized, that increases the chances of growth of planktons, and planktons act as feeding ground for fishes, and these regions develop as a fishing grounds. So one of the richest fishing grounds that is used here, called as Grand Banks, well known for fishing activities. So if you look at all these places in Canada and look at your political map carefully, locate some of the cities, see its distribution overall, that should be good enough for us to understand what is required. So here comes one suggestion for all of you to look at these maps again, look at these cities, look at the maps of North America as it is mentioned in your atlas. You should use them and you should follow these atlases, these maps carefully. I'll see you another discussion with some other continents in the next episode. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.